Board members, everybody good? Mr. McCown?
Yes.
That's good. Good evening. It's time to call the February 28th, 2023 Warrick County Board of Education meeting to order. Our first, let's do the pledge first, and then we'll do that one, okay? So at this time, we will do the pledge, and we're going to ask Isabella Speech to come lead us in the pledge. That's my egg lady, okay? Yeah, everybody. We're all going to say it.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Isabella, and thank you, girls. Okay, next thing, I'd like to, if the board would indulge me, I'd like to ask for a moment of silence for Wanda Kirby. Wanda was never a paid staff member of ours, but she was a person that, I don't know how long Mrs. Kirby did the grandmother's thing, probably 20 years, maybe longer than that. And Mrs. Kirby passed away this past week, and we'd like just to have a moment of silence for her. Thank you. Okay, we're down to approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Okay, we do have a couple of, not changes, but a couple of things added in. Under resignations, under routine business, we have Melissa Dotson. We have her retirement resignation. And then under employment, we have number 1, 2, and 3, the cook 3, the teacher for home, hospital instruction, preschool special needs have been struck from the agenda. Under number 4, we have a name in Jennifer Boyce for special education teacher at the middle school, and Deborah Rasmussen, 5th grade teacher at Warrick County Middle School. Get my fingers to work. And nothing on the back page. Anybody, did I miss anything? Anybody see anything I missed? Okay. Any questions, comments, concerns? Hearing none, we have a motion to approve the agenda as corrected. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. Ayes have it. Okay, so we're down to recognitions, and tonight we had the Warrick County Middle School girls basketball team. And with me saying that, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. McCown.
So our White Tiger Lady basketball team has had quite the season. Coach Dawson is going to speak to some highlights of that, introduce the team, and then we'll have a group picture. And I think the capstone is that we have with us the LKC B team champs. Quite an accomplishment. So I'll turn it over to Coach Dawson, let her talk about the highlights of the season, and then introduce the team.
All right. Thank you for having us here this evening. As you can see, we have a small team again this year, but we have more than we had last year, so that's a plus. We have 11 girls on the team. We have 5 6th grade girls and 6 7th grade girls, so we didn't have any 8th graders this year on the team. Every girl had to play both games, so they dressed both A and B team. We always had to figure out quarters to ensure we had enough subs for both teams in case somebody fouled out and whatnot. But anyways, they had a great season. Our A team, and when I say A team, I'm still talking about all of the girls because everybody played. But we were still playing a lot of 8th grade teams. So we finished the season playing a lot of the 8th grade teams at 11 wins and 5 losses. So that was really good for us. They worked really hard. They were able to play like those bigger and stronger girls. We lost to Williamstown. Williamstown joined our LKC this year. So they had a strong 8th grade team, and our A team lost out in the first round. But we competed with them. The girls played hard in that game. We only lost by what? It was 30-something to 20-something. So, that was good. Williamstown ended up winning the A championship game. As for the B team, we were playing more of the 7th grade teams, which is like what age we are, 6th and 7th graders. So we had a really good season there. We finished with 16 wins and 1 loss. So that was a great accomplishment for these girls, and we did win the B Team Championship. So I'm super proud of them. This is the 2nd year in a row that we won the B Team Championship. They work hard. They work hard year round, not just in season. So we're already working on things for like to start them for the off season in order so we can come back and try to win 2 championships next year and take both the A and the B bracket. We're going to have some good girls coming up that's been playing since 3rd grade. These girls, they've been playing since 2nd and 3rd grade, and all of their hard work shows. We have dedicated parents, we have dedicated girls, so they just work super hard, and I'm super proud of them. Everybody should be super proud of their hard work. So I will introduce you. Oh, if you added that up, let me say this. So between both teams, we had a 27-6 record. So that's really good, especially considering they were playing both games. They were tired. A lot of them were playing 5 quarters a night. So to finish with an overall 27-6 record is quite an accomplishment. So I will introduce the team. We have our 7th graders. We have Isabella Spees.
Raise your hand.
Or just step out. Just step
You're going to go
Yep.
out? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
We have Talia McCoy, and we have Josie Johns. We have Kinsley Nicolay and Bragan Dawson. So these are our 7th graders. And Jasmine Williams. So these are our 7th graders. And then our 6th graders are Maya Hatcher, Simone Hall, Kate Dodson, Leah Casanelli, and Sarah Logan. So these girls, let's give them a round of applause. Great work this season.
Very good.
To
Hey,
have
girl.
a winning A-team season with no 8th graders is
Yeah.
quite an
Yes.
accomplishment.
Yeah.
Think about this, girls. When you get to the high school, that same group of Williamstown girls will be what at that time? 10th graders? No.
Yeah.
That'd be
when
right.
we go to when our 7th grade group goes to the high school, yeah, that same group, they'll be sophomores.
Yeah. So when 6th grade groups gets up, they'll be juniors. So you're going to have another chance to revenge that loss, okay, in high school and varsity. And it'll be just as sweet, if not sweeter, at that point.
Yeah.
So,
I
but
might
good
add
season.
that with 5 quarters, the coach had to do a lot of shuffling
Yes.
around because there's 8 quarters, so you can start 5 players the whole
Yeah.
game or let them play in 4 quarters. So that A team might have been a lot better, but they weren't able to play it.
Fantastic. Okay, we want a picture. You want to come up here? Coach, come. Usually Mr. Armstrong is one that makes us. Yeah. Mr. Armstrong usually gets us where I'll sit you. Yeah. He's not here. Are they too far out? If you can see the camera, you're all right. Stay there, girls. Come on up. If you guys want to take pictures, you're welcome to come up. Good job. Coach, thank you for coming out, and congratulations, girls, and coach and parents. Thank you for all you do, okay?
Absolutely.
You're welcome. You're welcome to stay. I don't think I'm going to have any takers.
You almost had me.
There you go. Okay, so we're down to information. So first one, safety report. Mr. McCown?
So Mr. Smith is going to share 3 items of information: safety report, his regular and monthly attendance report, and a maintenance update report.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. McCown. Thank you, Mr. Metz. First thing is we had our safety meeting on February 8th, and there's a list of the people that were in attendance. Curtis Moore, myself, Mr. McCown, Mr. Metz, Mrs. Hickman, Miss Richards, Dr. Blake, Casey McCauley, Brenda Evans, Kenny Petrie, Stan Hickman, Tim Bunner, and Mrs. Starkey was there, present. We discussed the recent Alice active shooter training that Curtis Moore completed, and what we did, we put a tentative schedule together, which Curtis has started on this week, training the staff, followed by the students at each of the schools. What I included was a tentative schedule here, and talking about the fact that we're going to send a note out to parents before we start training the students and stuff, so they're aware of what's going on, and parents have the option of opting out of the training if they choose to for their children. Talked about how we're wanting to invite and welcome all of you as board members to any of the training if you're willing to attend or available to attend. Like I said, the primary center staff, Curtis started training them this week. Next week will be primary center students during, and as it said up there earlier, they're going to try and do it during the physical education classes. They're looking at possibly revamping the middle school staff and student schedule. They'll all get covered, but they may look at deviating from that. It's what Mrs. Hickman and Curtis have been working on. And lastly, they'll do the high school staff and students. Like I said before, you all are all welcome, of course, invited to any of those trainings if you want to coordinate that at the schools with any of them. Anyone have any questions or concerns? I know that's a lot of information there. Okay. Tim Bunner, Mr. McCann, and myself informed the safety committee about how we're trying to improve the two-way radio communication. The plans were include replacing the antenna at the high school, maintenance department receiving a new two-way radio and a base and new radio. I can update you on that. I verified the other day that the antenna has been replaced at the high school, and that's functioning better, the two-way communications with the radio. I just followed up on that since I gave you all this report on Thursday. Casey McCauley updated the group on the status of the school's security cameras. He explained the various areas where the new cameras were going to be installed and where the cables were, including in what areas those cameras were going to be stationed at, including the middle school practice field, hatch cameras for middle primary, and dumpster area camera in back of the middle schools where those are going to be located. We discussed purchasing live online video for monitoring the school bus and locating students if on the wrong bus or locating a missing student. Discussions and quoted began to purchase this system through REI for all the Wirt County Schools fleet. It came in at approximately, don't hold me to this, around $18,000 total. But after the initial fee, there should only be $7,000 per year. But we're going to follow up on that, which that sounds like a lot of money, but that's for 17 buses through the year. So you're looking at less than $500 a year ballpark for each of the buses. But the initial cost will look more than it actually will be each year. It won't be more like $7,000 a year. Oh, and by the way, back to this. I was just going to tell you on this part right here. Yeah, I know some of our areas we don't have Wi-Fi, we don't have service, and we've checked on that. If it's live video on the bus, if they get into a dead area where, for example, you can't see what's going on live on the bus, as soon as you get in somewhere where there's service, it'll catch it up. In other words, it'll immediately start catching up the video where you didn't have service. If you was wondering about that as well. Mrs. Hickman and Mr. Metz discussed the issue of the middle school main door not working properly, and Curtis explained that it was an issue. What we did, we ended up ordering the part, and we got it in, and unfortunately, they started working on it yesterday. The gentleman came back today after he got the part, and they were trying to repair it, and they found out the actual mechanism they got was not a good one, so they have to replace that device after all that. So they're supposed to have a date tomorrow for us when they'll have the new equipment in. And I know that's very frustrating, and that's a safety issue, and we're doing everything we can. But like I told the safety committee, we're at the mercy of getting the parts to fix it. And once we finally did get it fixed, now the part doesn't work, so it wasn't functional. So unfortunately, that's bad. Okay. I informed the group that about the recent Narcan and suicide prevention training we had on February 20th at the high school. This training includes service personnel and some professional personnel who didn't complete it earlier in the year. We offered it earlier in the year, so that was to cover everybody for those two areas. The next safety meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, April 19th at 9:30. Does anyone have any questions or concerns on any of that part right there? Okay. Let's see.
Did you say some of the dates may change after the break? Is that what I understood you to say? Or
Oh, what's that on the
on the
active shooter training?
yeah.
Yeah, that was what we put tentatively in place, but since I sent this out and after we discussed that, Curtis has been coordinating with Mrs. Hickman at the middle school. They may try and do something different, like scheduling-wise, like...
If the middle school can
Yeah.
find enough substitute teachers to be floating subs to cover classrooms, they could get this done in a quicker period of time
Okay.
than just utilizing planning period. And it'll just be contingent if they can find enough subs to do
Right.
that. If we do make that happen, we will share the new dates with you when it is going to be. But they're working on trying to squeeze it down instead of just doing planning periods if they can find enough subs to be floaters to make that happen.
And is there, you said the parents are going to be informed of
Yes, before
when
the
this training happens?
Before the students are, yes, before they have any type of training, there'll be an opt-out option was what my understanding was. Correct, Mr. McCann, on that?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And something else, Curtis, since I gave this to you all, he told me as of today, they're on schedule to get all the primary center staff trained. Friday's the last day, and they're going to have pre-K because they don't have students that day, and that'll be for any staff that might have been absent Monday through Thursday. He'll use that as a catch-up day also. So, if you're all right, Mr. McCann, I'll go ahead with the attendance report.
Yes.
Okay. In the month of February, 72 households were sent 5-day unexcused letters. There were 12 truancy conferences that took place across the 3 schools, and there was 1 juvenile truancy petition hearing that took place before Judge Water on February 10th. The average attendance by school and district as of February 23rd was 90.4 at the primary center. The middle school was at 90.3. And the high school was at 88.2 for the average county attendance rate of 89.5. The year-to-date figures by school are as follows. The primary center is at 90.9, the middle school is at 90.1, and the high school is at 88.5. District-wide, our rate of attendance year-to-date is 89.8. I've been giving you updates on the chronically absent with each board meeting I speak. Currently, as of February 23rd, the chronic absentee rate is 28%, 28.1 at the primary center, 35.4 at the middle school, and 40.3 at the high school for an overall chronic absent rate of 34.6 as of February 23rd. Enrollment is 351 at the primary center, 286 at the middle school, and at the high school 289 for a total enrollment of 926 as of the 23rd. The total enrollment has remained the same as the January narrative, but the high school enrollment decreased by 3 students and the primary center increased by 3 students, and the middle school stayed the same, so overall the total enrollment remained at 926. As far as by grade, pre-K enrollment was at 66, kindergarten was at 51, first grade was at 55, Second grade was at 68. Third grade was at 56. Fourth was at 55. Fifth grade was at 71. Sixth grade at 74. Seventh grade at 72. Eighth grade at 69. Ninth grade at 75. 10th grade at 73. 11th grade at 76. And there were 65 seniors. And lastly, as far as the school-based probation officer report, preventative action was made with 92 students identified as at risk for truancy. One student was successfully discharged from the program, and one student was discharged due to aging out of the program. There was one student was placed on truancy diversion. There are currently 13 students participating in the program, and the school-based probation officer made 84 contacts related to the students in the program during that time frame. Anyone have any questions on the attendance or enrollment or?
Could you explain what truancy diversion is?
Yeah, truancy diversion is what we spoke about briefly, where we go through the process and we contact the students once they have 3 unexcused absences at the school. Then at 5 days, I send a letter out, and then once they reach to a level of 7 or 8 unexcused absences, we traditionally set up a truancy conference. And if the problem persists, then depending on the situation, they're placed on truancy diversion, a proactive process to avoid going to court is what that is. And then if they don't abide by the terms, then the last step we go to court and such for them for attendance. Now, like I said before, that addresses the unexcused absence, but that doesn't help us with the chronically absent because, like I described before, that's excused and unexcused. So.
Jeff, the student that was discharged for aging out of the program, my assumption would be then that maybe adult probation will pick that student up?
Yeah. In other words, once they turn 18, like you said, Mr. Metz, they age out with Ty or whoever, and then sometimes they could be picked up by the adult probation, correct? Uh-huh.
On that chronicle, that figures out 300 and something kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's, we're judged, I don't know, as far as I know, still 18% for the year.
10%.
Is that correct?
So, yeah.
Sorry.
Students have 180 days of instruction, so if a student misses more than 18 days, whether excused or unexcused for the year, they're labeled as chronically absent. And so we are learning some things that other counties are doing, and we're making some efforts. If a student knows they're going to be out for a period of time with orthodontist or things, allergy shots or things of that nature, we're working to code that different to where the kid has their work ahead of time, and we can code that differently so that doesn't count against those students. But it's an undertaking. I don't know that anybody has got a good solution for this figured out because students many times have legitimate reasons for not being here. They're seeing medical care that is an excused absence, but it still counts against us. So I think we're doing a good job meeting the kids that are truant, I think, but to try to figure out how to address, we are still working on that and taking a look at trying to figure out new ideas to help with that situation. And if somebody out there figures it out, I will steal what they're doing real quick.
And to follow up on what Mr. McCown's talking about there as well, it's in the beginning stages. We haven't committed fully to that, Mr. McCown, but we're also looking at community and schools and other options possibly, correct, Mr. McCown?
So we are looking to add an additional program at the high school for next year called Communities in School. It is a grant where Mr. Smith and Mrs. Starkey are kind of on the punitive side of attendance. The Communities in School builds relationships with people to see if there's something that family needs to help them get the kids to school. So when we talk to some various places that are making strides with this, they credited having the Communities in Schools program with the success that they're having. So we are looking to add that grant to the high school, and it would fund one coordinator position of that then would work to have positive outreach to the community with attendance. Everybody loves the communities and schools people, but when Ty and Jeff give them a call, not so much. So we're looking to get that in place for next year.
With the students that we have that are chronically absent, are we seeing any commonalities between those students?
Say that again, Mr. Sherlock.
The students that are chronically absent, are we noticing any commonalities between those students?
It's funny you asked that, Mr. Sherlock. I was just talking to Mr. McCown. We were looking at the other day. I don't know if this answers your question accurately, but we do see that a large percentage of the kids that are on the chronic absence list have not accumulated the unacceptable amount of unexcused absence, if that makes sense. Like primarily over most of those kids of that percentage we have, there are kids that are off for legit reasons, whether it's doctor's appointments, there's various things that they could be off for, and I'm seeing that there's a trend that way, and I told Mr. McCown at some point this year, maybe later on, I'm going to break that down and see how many of those kids have less than, let's say, 10 or less than 5 unexcused absences or 10. What we're finding out, the majority of the kids being absent are for excused reasons as opposed to unexcused. I don't know if that answers your question, what you're...
Partially, but for instance, are the majority of them from certain neighborhoods, certain bus routes, certain demographics where we could say, it looks like these students are having a problem with attendance more than other groups of students, so we would have a better idea where to focus.
Now, I have not located that commonality, but that may be a good idea. I may look at some point and see. I know what you're saying, like one section of the county, or I don't know, whatever.
Yeah,
yes.
right, yes.
That's a good idea. I may try and see if I can do that when I get a chance, see if it's... It may not be pertinent, but it wouldn't hurt.
Yeah, it might not, but if we know a certain area,
Right.
then, or a certain type of student,
Right.
we could focus the efforts there.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I see. Yeah.
Thank you.
What I was thinking too, maybe we could educate parents that, don't leave them out for the whole day. I think it just counts for what hours they're missing. Is that how it works?
Well,
if you go to doctors, that's what the chronic is where they're excused, but
Right.
they're saying only 18 days. And it sounds like a lot, but I know through my own grandkids, you got dentist appointments, doctor's appointments, whatever.
Yeah.
And it can mount up pretty quick. And I just wondered if there's some way we could educate parents if they could have after school hours, or make sure it's not a whole day absent just because they went to the doctor.
Yeah, and what we tried, like you're saying, Brent, we try and get it to where, I know what you're saying, if it could be a half day as opposed to a whole day, it'd take longer to accumulate. And the big thing that we emphasize within the schools is with our wellness center now being here 5 days a week, and the nurse being, unless you're contagious, now I'm not encouraging that,
Right.
Brent, but if they can come to school and they go and see the nurse, and then they exhaust that and go over to the wellness center, that's still going to be a chronic absence. But see, that's where we get into that, Brent. It'd still be a absence, because if they send them home, that would be on Ty and I's end, the unexcused absence, but it would still be chronically absent, because you see the dilemma right there,
Yeah.
Brent, no matter what you do.
Well, yeah, we seen that when they told us that it was 18 days, and if they go to the wellness center, is that counted as being absent?
If they send them
they
home,
go home.
yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying to go to the wellness center. If he was
No.
here and they got sick, they said, "We'll send you over to the wellness center."
During that time?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
But like Mr. Metz was getting ready to say, but if they send you home, it's still considered
Right.
an absence
Yeah,
no matter what.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah,
part of it.
yeah. So that's a good question, Brent. Anyone have anything else? Okay. All right. As far as the SBA maintenance project, the Advanced Communication Company was the winning bidder for the high school phone, the Work County Schools phone and communication upgrade project. The sealed bid opening took place at Work County Board of Education on Wednesday, February 22nd. It's in part of your packet there. It's a substantial upgrade. The project bid was $49,998. And what we did there, what we were originally going to do, we were looking at upgrading our antiquated phone system of volume. Mr. Metz and Mr. McCown can testify to it. We've had that same phone system for, how long has it been outdated, Mr. Metz, would you say? 10 years or better, probably, the phone system we have currently?
Now, it's probably been here, I've retired 10 years, and it was about 5 years before that, so about 15 years.
Yeah. So when we were going around talking to them, we were looking at just adding phone lines and extensions to that. But then once we talked to the gentlemen that were bidding, it was less than $10,000 difference to get the more, just replace the whole system and go over with the voice IP phone system, which is more cutting edge and technology-wise, so we chose to go that route. It was just better because previously, believe it or not, about 10 years ago, Casey had got a quote on the same system, what we end up bidding out here, and it was like $130,000. That was a totally new type of system. We didn't realize that it dropped that substantially, so we went ahead and went with this route where it has some nice options like, without boring you with that, but it has like voicemail to email, where if you receive a voicemail to go to your email if you choose to use that option. We're going to have a direct line, 2 direct lines right to the wellness center in case of an emergency. It's all going to be the phone system, for example. Right now, currently, if everything works out well, like right now, if I wanted to set it in my office or Mr. McCown, we wanted to call the primary center, you have to dial the number or do whatever. This will be hooked up to where you can hit a button and it'll just ring into those areas. So it'll make it a more direct phone line, is the way they explained it to us. So hopefully that'll be better. Mr. Metz, how long do you believe we've had that same phone system at the board office itself? Did you say?
It's all done at the same time.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, we did the whole county.
Okay, but it's been a little while. Yeah, it's been a while. So okay. The next part is the teams meeting for the final phase of the HVAC project. The teams meeting was on Friday and talked about how the last stage of getting the variable speed pumps and the bladder tank replaced at the middle school. On that meeting on Friday that we sat in on, they decided that they would do this process beginning March 10th. They would start draining the lines and do it during spring break, and ideally they'll hope to have it done when they come back on the 20th. But we made a decision, didn't we, Mr. McCown? It would disturb things less to do that, and if they had to go a couple days without heat, weather pending, we'd be okay rather than do that in the middle of the summer, and shutting the heat or shutting the cold air off. That'd be nasty in there in the summer for summer school. So we're hoping they'll have all that rectified by the 20th, correct, Mr. McCown? That's the indication.
Yeah, hopefully so. The weather is looking like it's going to be in the 50s and 60s, so I think worst case scenario, if it takes them another day to get things back up and running, we should be okay. But I think all of the parts will be on the ground there on the 10th, so I see no reason why they shouldn't get it done in that time. They like to nail down a big window in case they have contingencies, but we're hopeful that that'll be done by the time kids come back from spring break.
Yeah. Okay. Next step. Hobart finalized the installation of the automated dishwashing station at the middle school primary cafeteria and serving area. They're using that station as part of the process, but to utilize it at 100%, as I mentioned here, I talked to Mr. Malonis, and they're going to install a new window this summer when they have a chance to do that, and they'll be using it optimally at 100% this summer once they get that last step done. But they are utilizing it now, but not at its maximum use currently. And lastly, I'd mentioned this earlier, that was about the lock for the front. Of course, all this has changed since this was released late last week, but they got the part in, but unfortunately, like I said, it is not functioning properly, so they're going to have to get a different one and have it in as soon as possible. So, anyone have any other questions or concerns as far as maintenance or anything else? Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we're down to approval of the minutes. Need a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Okay, there is a correction on the minutes, okay? Under, when we approved for the treasurer to seek the bids, okay, within the minutes, it's not correct how it should say it. It should say treasurer, that Mr. Stewart, the board approved the treasurer to competitively seek bids for the annual financial audit by independent auditing firms for a period of 3 years. That's what the motion should have been. So if that's okay with the board, we're going to correct the minutes there.
So
I mean, that's what she said to us. Go ahead.
So the part that's bolded is
discussed-
what it should be.
Yes, so
Yeah,
we
I'm
discussed
sorry,
that.
I didn't know it was bolded
We,
on
we
there.
is.
just did not
It is, okay.
include the length of time
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
so this quantifies that and nails everything down that Mrs. Cummings needs it to say.
Okay.
We had the discussion in that motion of exactly what that was. We just need the minutes to be a
Need
tad
to
more
say it.
specific.
Any questions about that? Any questions, comments, concerns about the minutes? Hearing none, we have a motion to approve the minutes with the correction. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. Ayes have it. Okay, so we're down to finance. Need a motion to approve the payment of invoices in the amount of $61,284.73.
So moved. Oh, sorry.
Mr. McCown.
So the basket is not very full this evening. We have 3 runs of expenditures for your consideration this evening. The first on 2/20/2023 in the amount of $18,099.64. Noteworthy in this run is the Advantis Education VR goggles for $9,407. Then on February 22nd, 2023, in the amount of $35,407.10. The biggest chunk of that is our West Virginia virtual school bill. As you know, we lost our regular Spanish teacher, and we've had, in addition to the hodgepodge of courses that kids take, a big chunk of that is the kids that are in Spanish for their high school foreign language requirement. That's totaling $20,000. Then finally, on February 23rd, 2023, in the amount of $7,777.99. Noteworthy in that is Amazon supplies. $2,473.50 of that is disinfectant wipes, for a total of $61,284.73.
Saw where Wood County got a whole bunch of them and give them away to every counties around us, but we weren't one of the counties, and I figured this is, we had probably just bought, and yeah, they got like, what, 40 crates of them or something, so, yeah. Any questions? Hearing none, we have a motion to approve the payment of invoices in the amount of $61,284.73. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. Ayes have it. Okay, need a motion for budget transfers in the amount of $250.
$5.90.
Is that right? Okay, I'm not sure mine's right. $255,005.90. Is that
Yep.
what's on here?
Yes,
Okay.
indeed.
So moved.
Do I have, I'm sorry. We have a motion. Mr. McCown.
Okay, so this transfers when the regular budget was submitted, before it got approved by the state. This money was setting in one big bucket that Mrs. Cummings had. Now that the state has approved her budget, she is putting that money out into the line items that it's to go. The federal funds going into where we have budgeted in the GPS system for our federal funds to go, and all of that total is $255,005.90.
Any questions? Hearing none, we have a motion to approve the budget transfers in the amount of $255,005.90. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. Ayes have it. And now we're down to budget supplements. I need a motion to approve budget supplements in the amount of $613.06.
So moved.
Mr. McCown.
So noteworthy here, we got a decrease in what our actual Title I funding and our Title IV funding happen to be. So the state puts out what they think that's going to be, and then we get the actual number here. And in this case, our Title I funds went down $13,120.02 from what the state projected it to be, and Title IV funds went down $201.92. On the positive note, we have gotten released our rural and low-income Title V funds in the amount of $24,548. We have an increase in Title II funding of $252, and we got an increase for 1.26 additional students that totals $7,135. So add it all together, and it comes to $18,613.06.
Questions, comments? John, how many, did you say how many students?
1.26,
And it was how much?
$7,135.
Any questions? Hearing none, we have a motion to approve budget supplements in the amount of $18,613.06. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. Ayes have it. And personnel matters. Need a motion to approve the resignation of Tracy Rhodes as cook at Worth County Primary Center effective February 17th, 2023.
So moved.
Mr. McCown, anything we
Her
need to
letter
know?
was in your packet.
Any questions? Hearing none, we have a motion to approve Tracy Rhodes resignation cook, Worth County Primary Center, effective February 17th, 2023. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. Ayes have it. Okay, need a motion to approve the retirement resignation for Melissa Dotson, bus operator, effective June 30th, 2023.
So moved.
Any questions, comments?
So noteworthy in her retirement letter is she has served Worth County Schools in a variety of capacities as a cook, a custodian, and a bus driver, and she would like to come back on the sub list for those three things. And
All three of them.
All three of them,
Good
and
deal.
we will absolutely do that. So she has been a very good employee for us. We wish her well in her retirement, and we hope to see her back subbing.
Absolutely. Any questions, comments? Hear none. We have a motion to accept the retirement resignation of Melissa Dotson, bus operator, effective June 30th, 2023. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. Ayes have it. And down to employment, we'll move right down to number 4. Need a motion to approve Jennifer Boyce as special education teacher, Worth County Middle School, effective for the 23-24 school year.
So moved.
Mr. McCown.
Okay, her information was in your packet. She was the successful bidder on the middle school special ed that we have had posted up several times, and she has been a substitute and sub quite a bit at the middle school, so we're happy to bring her on board, bring her to you for your consideration to fill that special ed position starting next year.
Any questions, comments? Hear none. We have a motion to approve Jennifer Boyce as special education teacher, Worth County Middle School, effective for the 23-24 school year. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. Ayes have it. Okay, now we're looking for a motion to approve Deborah Rasmussen, 5th grade teacher, Worth County Middle School, effective for the 23-24 school year.
So moved.
Mr. McCown.
So her application was in your packet. She is currently an interventionist for Calhoun County Schools, and I think at Pleasant Hill and Arnoldsburg Elementaries, and is living here in Worth County and making that commute. I think she likes her job there, and she is well thought of there, but with gas being what it is, she's looking to move a little closer to home. So happy to bring her to you for your consideration tonight, and again, she would complete her contract this year with Calhoun and then be released to come to us for the next school year.
Any questions?
Yep. when I'm looking through her information in the packet, I have some concerns. So my first concern is that on the application, she doesn't even check that she's applying for a teaching position. She puts that she's applying for an administrative position. So when they don't put that much attention to detail in the actual application is a red flag. And then when we look at her transcripts that are attached, noticed that her academic credentials, she has multiple failure in classes and many classes that she barely passed.
So she's fully certified with West Virginia certification in grades K through 6, and we've had that position posted for some time, and she was the sole applicant for it. So I understand your reservations, but and speaking with folks in Calhoun County, they have zero issues with her job performance. So I'm happy to bring her to you for your consideration.
Yeah, she went through I see here, she went through the interview process and has the required sign-offs by the principal, faculty senate, and Mr. McCown. So.
Did anyone bring that up, that she said she was applying for a different position?
It was not mentioned to me by the selection committee, but I did not sit in on the interviews.
Did the selection committee mention her academic transcripts?
They did not mention that to me.
I mean, Mr. Sherlock, if you look at under the recommendation sheets, it'll tell you what they sign off as saying that they looked at.
I was looking at those, and I'm wondering if they are giving that recommendation because it's the sole person for the position, or if I'm wondering why. Because like I said, for me it's a red flag when someone on an application checks the wrong job they're applying for.
So
I mean, maybe that's not a big deal.
She called me. She knew what job she was applying for. She called in and had an inquiry about it before she filled out her application. She may have inadvertently made a mistake on the application, but she was well aware of what job she was applying for, because she had conversation with the middle school and myself before she applied.
Well, and her overall GPA in all 3 degrees is fine.
I mean, when you...
She's got a 3.2, a 3.5, and a 3.6.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Fs and the Cs.
Yeah, I
where
mean...
in most, my understanding is most advanced degrees.
Guys, I'm going to stop the conversation because I think we're wandering into confidentiality. Now,
Sure.
if we want to go into executive session and have this discussion, I'm good with that.
I
But I think we're wandering into
Make
some
a
of
motion
these
that we go into
confidentiality.
executive session to
discuss. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Mr.
to discuss her credentials.
Okay, we have a motion to enter into executive session to discuss credentials or personnel. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. Ayes have it.